let's move on to the Christmas schedule.
Welcome in. How are we doing tonight? I hope you are having a fantastic evening here on YouTube. Guys, my name is Chris. I am live here on our ActionLab YouTube channel for the first time ever. We're going to be doing a lot of fun things here on YouTube. This is a brand new thing, so I'm testing things out. So there's a chance that we're going to kind of have people trickle in where there's a chance we might not have anybody hanging out tonight. But either way, we're going to have some fun talking some NBA here. We're going to try to make this a staple moving forward on YouTube. So that way, we have our NBA content coming every Thursday. We have all sorts of things happening. But in case you guys are new and you guys haven't been a part of the Action Lab before, I usually have a co-host named Scott. He's my brother-in-law. We have done 2 years of streaming as of yesterday. We had our big 2-year anniversary of streaming on Twitch. So we are still currently on Twitch, but we are branching out and having some fun on the YouTube side of things. So we're going to make sure that we're, trying to get out in front of a couple of different audiences here. This is, again, brand new for us. We're trying to feel out how this is going to be moving forward with, transitioning to a new platform. I mean, it's interesting. You see a lot of Twitch people coming over to YouTube, coming over to Facebook or wherever, there's streaming platforms. But this will be a new adventure for us. So hopefully this picks up and ramps up over time. But we are excited to be here with everybody, especially all of our community that we have on Twitch. Hopefully we could get some people coming in and being a part of what we have going on here this Thursday. And every Thursday moving forward, we're going to try to see how this works, try to gain some traction on YouTube and have some fun with it. But we're just going to dive in. By the way, I live here in case anyone's new, live here in Denver, Colorado, so I'm a big Nuggets fan, as you can tell, with all the gear and all the stuff in the background with the Avalanche, Broncos. Broncos have been rough this year, so you fall back on the Avalanche and the Nuggets. Rockies are always trash, so it's a thing where you just gotta get excited about something, and that's going to be the Nuggets and the Avalanche, which defending champion Avalanche. Hey, we're gonna run it back. Nuggets, this could be the year. Who knows? This could be the year. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and just dive into things. Now, what we're gonna do tonight is we are gonna dive into my power rankings for the NBA. This is something that we're gonna be doing every single week. So we're gonna be updating the power rankings accordingly. We're going to be doing our top 10 teams in the NBA. And then from there, we will break down kind of, why they're there in those spots and then, adjust them each and every week. We will also be covering tonight, at least, the top games coming up. And that is going to be a big one tonight with the Christmas games looming here this weekend. Merry Christmas, everyone. And by the way, hope you are having a very Merry Christmas and gearing up for the holidays. But with that being said, we're going to cover all of the amazing games that we have for Christmas. And there's a couple that are, before the season started, looking a little bit better than we thought they would be. But we still have a couple great games that we'll dive into those and kind of what that schedule looks like as well. So, guys, thank you for being a part of this. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be going over some best bets. We do this on the ActionLab on our Twitch stream as well. We'll be doing some best bets on those Christmas games. And moving forward, after this week, next Thursday, we'll go over, some of the games going on over the course of the weekend. We'll kind of go over those best bets, and maybe we'll make this a thing. Every single week, we'll go over best bets, our power rankings, and anything you guys want to talk about, newsworthy, we're going to, break this out. We are only doing a 1-hour show as of today. So, we're going to go through this show, kind of power through it a little bit. It's kind of different than what we're used to on our Twitch stream, where we have like 3 or 4 hour shows when it comes to the NFL and all the other sports that we cover on the Twitch side. But it's exciting to have you guys here and be a part of what we have on YouTube. So without further ado, let's dive into the NBA Power Rankings. And we are going to just go ahead and dive in and make sure that you guys know exactly what's happening here with those. So let me go ahead. Let me change this up a little bit. We're still working out the little kinks here when it comes to some of the show. So here we are, NBA Power Rankings. By the way, Scott is not here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to update this graphic on the fly for you guys because, we need to make sure we get the right graphics in here. Give me 1 second. It's always rocky on the first one. We're always trying to figure out the first stream, but this is super exciting for us that we get to do this. Here we go, and we will be bringing this down. And there we are. So again, my name is Chris, and we are ActionLab Sports. All right, so let's go ahead, dive into this power rankings for the NBA and see what, you guys think about these. Now, this is going to be one of our staples moving forward, again, as mentioned. But if I can update some of these things, there we go. All right. You guys ready? We will be going through 10 through 1. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to kick off number 10, and we have the New York Knicks coming in at 10. The Knicks going to be in action on Christmas Day. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to see what they have in the tank. I mean, obviously, the Knicks cracking a top 10 list doesn't really happen very often, right? But here we are. New York, they've looked good. They just come off a 8-game winning streak as of late. So they, have been doing it through defense. Defense has really been the key factor of how they've been able to get going with this 8-game winning streak. And, they, changed their roster around. They've moved some players to the bench and tried to, most notably, I think they moved like Fournier and a couple other guys to the bench, and then kind of just got some guys that are just focused on defense, and it's been working for them. So, they've been doing some good things. Jalen Brunson's been playing pretty well. So I feel like the New York Knicks have earned this spot. At one point, this was a battle between having, and spoiler alert, Kings and Clippers didn't make the top 10 list, but they were in the mix as well. But I think the Knicks are just playing really good basketball at the moment as far as they're concerned. And also the Kings, they've kind of, had a couple struggles this past week. They're still, coming back down to earth in a couple respects. But and then also you have the Clippers, who, again, they're 5th right now in the Western Conference. But 6-4 of their last 10. They've won 2 straight. I get that, but just right out of the top 10 here on my list. Number 9, we have the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns currently sitting at 4th in the Western Conference. Now, they've had their struggles. DeAndre Ayton getting into it with head coach on the sidelines and the bench, kind of having some weird things happening there. They've had some stumbling through the last, course of the week, and they've kind of just been in a weird spot, right? DeAndre Ayton, Monty Morris arguing that we have a new owner, guys. You have a new owner. Matt Ishba is the one who recently came in, bought the Phoenix Suns and the WNBA franchise there in Arizona. So, he's going to be taking over. Not a great look to, get started on that. But, either way, this team it's a gritty team. They're going to be there, right? They're going to be there at the end, and they're going to make a run to a playoff position. I feel like they're going to be, getting these things worked out. I think the change of ownership is going to be big for them moving forward to get out from under the toxic environment that, Sarver was putting out there for that franchise. So, this will be interesting to see if there's going to be more aggressiveness with this new ownership group, but exciting to see. I think there's still kind of a wait and see mentality when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, but we'll see what ends up happening with them moving forward. But kind of struggling a little bit, which is why they've dropped down to number 9 on these power rankings. All right, next up we have the Pels. The Pels coming in here at number 8. I'm sorry, number 8. Right now, Pels, third in the West, sitting there nice and snug behind the Memphis Grizzlies and the Denver Nuggets. However, losers of 4 straight. They've lost 4 straight. They, they're trying to get, out of this funk that they're in. I just think that they're in a situation where they're ready for Desmond Bane to come back. I think they need Desmond Bane. He's been kind of on the sidelines for a little bit, and he is kind of working his way back into the mix. So with that being said, I think they're going to get better. Now, they just came off a loss to the Denver Nuggets recently, my Nuggets. So that felt really good. And coincidentally enough, the Nuggets beat them with what the Grizzlies strive for in excellence, and that's defense. Somehow, the Nuggets played better defense than the Grizz that night here in Denver. So, I'll take it. We'll take that here in Denver. It's always a good situation when you have, your team that's not known to play defense very well, play some good defense against a good defensive team and force some mistakes. So Grizzlies, they're going to be in the mix. They're a very, very good team. They're going to be in action as well on Christmas. But I think the biggest thing here is getting Desmond Bane back. John Morant obviously carrying it, but they're doing it with grit. This Grizzlies team is very, very good. And, when he comes back, he's been out with a toe injury since mid-November. So he's, reportedly, returning here soon. But we've kind of been hearing that for a little bit. So we'll see what ends up happening. So Christmas Day was supposed to be Steph Curry versus John Morant. A little showdown. Steph Curry's hurt, so he's not going to be in the mix. But I think, this is going to line up nicely. This might lead to one of my best bets of the week and why I think the Grizzlies might have a good chance to win this game pretty handily. But the Grizz are rolling along, and the Warriors are not the same without Steph Curry. So we'll dive into that one. But Grizzlies, the Pelicans here, when it comes to their aspects of what they have going on, Brandon Ingram's back. Sorry, I went on the tangent about down the hole with the Grizzlies. But Brandon Ingram's back. Recently had a step back to recovery over a sprained toe. The Pels, they're going to be in a good spot as well. Pels are still kind of there's a lot of things that are up in the air in the West. The West is in a weird spot. Now, I think the Pelicans have a nice roster. Zion is looking pretty good. He's super exciting. If you guys don't like Zion, I don't know what you're doing. But it's going to be fun to watch them down the stretch. Do I think that they have enough to hang in this? I do. I think that they can last towards the top of this top end of the Western Conference for a while. So I believe that that's something that they can really, really stick with here over the course of this season. Let me know, guys, if you guys are here, let me know your thoughts on anything regarding, any of these rankings or your favorite teams. Let me know your favorite teams. Like to get to know you guys a little bit more. It's always better when we have you guys chatting. So if you're hanging out in the chat, pop in, say hi, let me know who your teams are and where you're from so we can get to know you a little bit better. But all right, next up, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia currently sitting at 18-12. They're winners of 6 straight, which is they're on a nice little roll here. 7-3 in their last 10, and looking really good. Most recent wins coming against the Pistons, Raptors, Warriors, Kings, Hornets, and Lakers. Which, keep in mind, not the strongest of schedules over that 7-game win streak. Previous to that, they had losses to the Grizzlies and the Cavs. So, other than that, I mean, they're playing pretty good. They have a balanced attack in Philadelphia. I mean, Embiid's playing well. He's averaging 32.5. He's doing fantastic things like he's always doing. I'm curious whether or not he's going to stay in the mix for the MVP. Obviously, injuries always come into play when you got those situations happening on that front. But love what Philadelphia is doing now. And honestly, I mean, I think they're going to be pretty potent in the. Everyone's talking about the Bucks and the Celtics coming out of the East, but right now I love the way Philadelphia is playing. Tyrese Maxey won't be ready quite yet, so I think after the first of the year he should be getting a little bit closer. But I think this is going to be a fun one on Christmas Day for the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll dive into that matchup as well. Up next, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets are, I'm telling you, they're looking pretty good at the moment. Right now, they are winners of 7 straight. They figured it out. They're 20-12 on the season and only 2.5 back of Milwaukee for that Eastern Conference number 1 seed. So, I mean, here we go. Brooklyn Nets, we thought that they were going to be a mess coming into this season with all of the issues. You have Kyrie, you have the coaching issues, you have all these different things. Steve Nash leaving the building and moving on to something different, right? And the drama has just been circulating all around the Nets. But they've continued to focus on basketball. That's it. They're trying to focus on basketball. They've been doing their thing. And, they're 12-3 since Kyrie returned from his 8-game suspension. Now, there was drama associated with that. But either way, over those 15 games, as a top 10 offense and defense. Figure that one out. The Brooklyn Nets have a top 10 defense. So they've looked like one of the better teams in the East recently. I wouldn't be shocked if they worked their way up to the top and even past one of those teams at the top, like a Boston or a Milwaukee at some point. But they are looking a lot better than they did last year or earlier on the season at this point. So I think, this is part of the run is part of, their schedule as well. I think that they've had a nice little, when it comes to their schedule, they've been able to, take advantage of some of these games. Again, Warriors, Pistons, Raptors, Wizards, not the strongest of schedules. I will admit, same kind of situation we just mentioned. But Pacers is on that list. Hornets is on that list. They lost to the Celtics during that run, 103-92. So is there a wait and see? Sure, but I'm excited to see what they do in the regular season, the next matchup for this regular season and against the Milwaukee Bucks here on the 23rd, or tomorrow, actually. They got the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. I'm curious to see how they stack up against the really, really good team led by Giannis. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Next up, you got my Denver Nuggets coming in 5th. Did I want to rank them higher? A little bit, but I can't. I can't rank them higher than this. But they are the number 1 seed in the West currently. Honestly, again, the West isn't looking as clear cut as you would normally expect the West to be. I mean, the West has historically been really, really tough and top heavy. This year, it's a little bit different. So you got the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, I projected them preseason to be finishing in the top 3 of the West. And right now they're doing some good work without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. in the lineup. So they're missing out on those guys. Murray's kind of battling in and out of the lineup, but's been rusty. Hasn't looked great from some of his starts that he's recently had. So, I mean, honestly, it's better to get him some rest. But the fact that they are doing all this with Jokic again, putting the team on his back, and he's got help this year. He's got a lot more help than he had last year when it comes to three-point shooting, when it comes to some guys like Bruce Brown and KCP that are coming in and really making an impact and playing some defense. Now the defense has been an issue, which is why it was promising to see the Denver Nuggets play really, really good defense against number 2 Memphis in the standings this past week and get a solid win against them. Now, that's the key. If they can get defensive-minded and switch the way they think about playing, I mean, they have all the offense in the world to make something happen in the West. It's whether or not they play enough defense on the other flip side of things. Giving up 114 average to opposing teams. But, I mean, again, they're a top scoring team, so averaging 115. I just think that Denver still has some work to do. My Nuggets, this is a prime season in the West where there's not a lot of competition as much as you would think. By the way, Ja Morant came out this past week and was like, "Oh, I'm not worried about anybody in the West. Not worried about anybody in the West. I'm good. I'm worried about a couple teams in the East, though." I'm like, man, put that on a poster for any other team in the West to see how that turns out. I'm just saying. That's going to come back. You know that quote's going to be circulating through not only the Nuggets locker room, but a lot of others. So Nuggets here coming in at number 5, even though they're number 1 in the Western Conference. I still love what they bring to the table here, and I think that, they are probably going to be rising these rankings very, very soon. Next up, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers coming in. Cleveland Cavaliers, winners of 5 straight. They're doing it with defense, 22-11, and they are looking fantastic right now. So Cleveland, Jared Allen, since he's returned back to the lineup 8 games ago, Cavs are 6-2 with a +7 net rating. 4th best defense in the NBA over that stretch. I mean, that's pretty good. When they're playing good defense like that, you can win some games. You could shut some teams down. They went from being a pretty good defensive team to a really good defensive team. Obviously, Jared Allen holding down the middle of the court always is going to be effective. He could always, turn it on the front end too when it comes to putting the ball in the hoop, getting those alley-oops and all the, getting those easy buckets in the paint on the far side. But I think that this is going to be a year for the Cavs to make a name for themselves and maybe surprise some people. Now, they're going to have some trouble trying to climb the ladder against some of these top teams. Like you got Boston, you got Milwaukee, you got Brooklyn playing their best basketball that they've played all season long. So you have a lot. I mean, Brooklyn right behind them in the standings. Cleveland Cavaliers, 5 straight wins. Brooklyn Nets right behind them, 7 straight wins. Only a game and a half behind. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Honestly, the Sixers coming in at 5th. The Knicks playing good basketball. I mean, you have those top 6 teams in the East that are looking really good. Western Conference, I'm still holding out on the Clippers, the Kings, the Blazers. Anything 5 seed and lower in the West, you just don't know what you're getting. And even from that, the Phoenix Suns, I don't know. I'm holding out on the Phoenix Suns. I'm not 100% sure where I'm at with them, but we'll see what ends up happening there. All right, so yeah, I talked a lot about the Grizzlies here. Obviously, they're coming in at number 3. They're number 2 in the West. Just lost that crown to the Denver Nuggets with that last loss, but same record, 19-11 here, 7-3. 2 straight losses, though, on the books as of right now, but they'll try to get off that coming up here this weekend. Try to get a W. But Memphis Grizzlies obviously looking good. I mentioned Desmond Bane. He's going to be coming back here soon. That's going to be a huge impact. They've had Jackson's been playing out of his mind. They've had a lot of exciting exciting things to be looking forward to when it comes to everything that they have moving forward. So they have been a tough team, a gritty team. Best home record, 13-2 right now, including 6 of 7 victories during its recent winning streak. So they're playing really, really good basketball at home. Little struggling on the road, but a lot of teams do. Started a 4-game road trip with losses to Oklahoma City and Denver, and slip into a tie for first in the West standings. So obviously they're here coming in at number 3. Number 2, Celtics. Celtics are at number 2 here. Boston, right now sitting right behind Milwaukee in the standings in the Eastern Conference, 22-10. But here's the thing. They're losers of 3 straight. Do I think they're a lot better than some of the other, not a lot better, but they're better than some of these other teams like Cleveland, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, New York? Yes, they're better. I think this game this weekend is going to be absolutely incredible. The Celtics squaring off against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's going to be a fun one. It's in Boston. It's going to be a great one. But these two teams are going to be battling it out all season long. Right now, I think that the edge leans towards Milwaukee, which is where I have them at number 1. Milwaukee, yet when you have the best player in the world, it's kind of easy to throw them at number 1, knowing that they're getting healthier, they're getting into a nice rhythm as well. By the way, Christmas come early for Milwaukee this year when Joe Ingles going to be recovering from that ACL, right? Looked a little rusty, but his minutes and it should be improving. When he was in Utah, he was always a thorn in the Nuggets side. He's always hustling around. He can hit those threes. He's doing a little bit of everything, but I think Coach Budenholzer is going to be utilizing him a ton moving forward. So it's going to be great. The best game of the weekend is going to be coming up between these two teams. So make sure you go check that out. But those are the power rankings. Guys, what do you think? If you guys are here hanging out with me, make sure you guys join in and be a part of the show. Join in on the power rankings. We, again, Knicks, Suns, Pels, Sixers, Nets, Nuggets, Cavs, Grizzlies, Celtics, Bucks, all finding their way into the top 10 this week. So we're going to be doing this every single week. We want to make sure you guys join in and have a great time talking with us. I mean, I love basketball. Basketball is kind of my first love. So we want to make sure that, you guys get your basketball fix and I get my basketball fix, and we can just talk some hoops here. So if you guys share the stream, share this with anybody else, and we'll make sure that, we get you all taken care of when it comes to all things NBA. So that leads us to our NBA Christmas Day games. Philadelphia, New York is the early game, starting at 10 o'clock my time here in Mountain Time, but noon Eastern. Then you got Dallas and the Lakers. So that one's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, you have Mr. Glass made a glass, or what does Charles Barkley call him? He calls them street clothes. Street clothes going to be out for this one. Obviously, Anthony Davis. I don't know how you hurt your leg in midair, but he did. He figured out a way. So, Anthony Davis won't be playing. You'll have a Lakers team with Westbrook coming off the bench. Not a lot. LeBron's going to have to do a lot of work in that one to make something happen. But I just think that it's going to be an interesting game. But I lean towards what we have going with the Dallas Mavericks in that. The best game of the day is lodged right in the middle, 5 o'clock Eastern time. You got the Bucks visiting the Celtics. We're going to go over my best bets there in a little bit. But, you got two of the top teams, number 1, number 2, going head-to-head on Christmas Day. That's going to be exciting. Then you got the Grizzlies and the Warriors. So this projected to be a fantastic matchup. The only problem with this one is that you won't have Steph Curry in this one. This was going to match up, Steph Curry and Ja Morant head-to-head in an exciting one. You have 3-point shooting versus an athletic, gritty team of the Grizz, and I think that would have been fantastic. But unfortunately, the Warriors are not the same team without Steph. So Steph Curry, sidelined for a little bit. They're trying to get him right. By the way, we have the Golden State Warriors sitting just outside of the top 10 seeds in the West. So they're a game and a half back of Minnesota for that 10th spot. So it's going to be a fight for them all season long, especially if they dig themselves a hole, losing a bunch of games without Steph Curry kind of leading the way. So we'll see what ends up happening with that as well. But next up, we have the game that, I don't care if it's a late game. I'm excited for it. We need to get some revenge on Phoenix. Phoenix right now sitting at 4th in the West. This would be a marquee win. I'm worried that the Nuggets struggle on Christmas Day. Last time they played on Christmas Day, didn't play so well. And when it comes to primetime games, they're hit and miss. They played well against Memphis the other night on primetime. But it's just, I worry about how they handle Christmas games and, some of these weird ones. So I think it's going to be a closer game than what people think. But I really, really think that the Nuggets are the better team overall in this one. The matchup I'll be looking at is Ayton versus Jokic. Jokic, 2-time defending MVP. But Jokic is mentioned, one of the toughest guys to match up with from his perspective is DeAndre Ayton. He struggles. The physicality that DeAndre Ayton pulls together for the matchups against Jokic, it's a different game than what Jokic is. But again, Jokic could do it all too. So whether he's, getting assists or rebounds or just maybe the Suns give it to him. The Suns give him trouble though. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I love the fact that we got the night game because I get to, get home from Christmas, all the festivities and check this one out, when, things are kind of winding down on Christmas Eve. So super excited for that one. But let's go ahead, dive into our NBA best bets. Now, these best bets are what I have carved out for this weekend. Now, couple things here. I'm going to try to keep tabs on all of our record when it comes to best bets. So we'll see how these end up happening and transpiring. But this is my first crack at it. Let's do it. We do this on our other channel on Twitch, so we wanted to bring it here and see what you guys thought of this as well. So I'll be doing 4 bets each week on the NBA, but this one coming up is the biggest weekend of the year for the NBA. It's Christmas weekend, and the biggest matchups are on the docket here. So I have Nuggets and Suns over 229.5. Now, this one, I think that there's going to be a lot of run and gun in this one. I think the Nuggets, obviously one of the higher scoring teams in the NBA. I think the Phoenix Suns are going to keep this one pretty competitive all the way through, which is going to keep Jokic on the floor. The efficiency is going to be good. And then even when Jokic is off the floor, there's a problem. When he leaves the floor, opposing teams feast. They have an easy go, right? So you're going to get those runs. There's a lot of runs that the Nuggets give up to opposing teams based off of the fact that Jokic just isn't on the floor. With that plus-minus, best in the league, he's not able to sustain that while on the bench. So he's not able to keep the team, in a good spot, which I think there's going to be a lot of runs here. I think this could be well over 229.5. Next up, Grizzlies -4.5. I got the Grizzlies in this one only because of what we talked about earlier with the Golden State Warriors, right? So with that, I just think that, they're just going to be overmatching the Golden State Warriors. Defensively, they'll be able to shut those guys down. Obviously, you're going to have, Draymond trying to kind of grit that game up as well, like kind of muck it up a little bit. But I just think that overall, I think the defensive presence of the Grizzlies, they know how to slow this game down, and I think they know how to limit the threes. So we'll see what ends up happening here. But I think this is a great opportunity. So without Steph Curry, the Warriors have been pretty rough to watch. You could just, it's just, he's the heart and soul of that team. He's the one that makes it go. He's the one that makes those big buckets that get the team, back out of a bad rhythm, out of a bad funk going through those games. So I just think they'll shut down the Golden State Warriors in this one. Next up, Lakers Mavericks over 225.5. I like the over in this one as well. This one is going to be an interesting one only because you're taking Anthony Davis out of the mix, right? He's a big time presence in the center, playing defense, and when you take that away, the Lakers kind of lose that defensive presence and kind of let people in the paint a little bit more. Also, I think that this is a game where Luka goes off. I mean, I have a feeling that, the Mavericks, they're going to be putting up a ton of points. Luka's going to have a great game on Christmas, and he's going to want to shine against LeBron. So I think this one, it's going to lend itself to a back and forth game. Not a lot of defense being played. I like the Mavericks Lakers to go over 225.5. And then finally, this is a weird one, but I'm going Celtics -4 to win that game by 5 at least. I think this game tends to lend itself, and I was doing a lot of research onto some of these bets. Did you know the Celtics, when they host the Bucks, are 3-0 in the last 3 in Boston? And, I've seen a lot of people, hey, you got Milwaukee at number 1. They're getting points. You have the number 1 team getting points against the Celtics team. Both teams are good. It's going to be a close game. Take the points. I think the Celtics run away with this one, man. I think this is a game where Celtics end up getting double-digit lead early on or midway through this game, and it's a struggle for Milwaukee to get in a rhythm, and it's going to be too late by the time the end of the game rolls around to get anything going. So that's where I'm at with the Celtics. I just think it's a trap game. Everybody's putting money on. If you're just a casual bettor, you see Milwaukee getting 4. It seems safe. Like, why would I not take the number 1 team getting points? I think it's a trap. I think Celtics end up winning this game by, they could win this game by double digits potentially, but I'm not going that far. I'm not. Do I think that could happen? Sure. But I'm just going to take Celtics to win this game by at least 5 points and get out of there on Christmas Day with the win. So it's going to be fun Christmas Day. I cannot wait to watch it. And this is it's going to be a lot of fun it's one of my favorite days of the year. I'm a big, as I mentioned, basketball fan. So it's going to be great to go out and see how some of these teams match up. I'm still worried about my Nuggets, though. I didn't pick the Nuggets side because I was worried about how they would show up on Christmas Day, but we'll see. But either way, that's the show. It was a quick one here. I know we, are trying to ramp this up little by little. We're going to get more and more people in. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already, if you're here. Also, I would love to get more people in the chat talking and let me know where you guys are from and who your teams are, so I could get to know you guys a little bit better. That way I could say, hey, so-and-so's a Grizzlies fan and so-and-so's a Lakers fan, and, I can kind of identify you guys. We like to get to know you guys and be a part of the community with you guys. So, this was a test run. I've had a great time putting this out there, and, I can't wait for you guys to be a part of this moving forward. So a lot of things in store for the Action Lab on YouTube. Love your graphics. Thanks, Faithful Therapist. Where are you from and who's your team? Like to get to know you a little bit. Thank you for welcoming to YouTube. It means the world to be a part of this. So super excited. But let me know who your team is and where you're from. So any other thoughts? Throw them out there, guys. We will be doing this stream every Thursday night moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to gain some traction. We're going to get some more of our local community from Twitch over as well. So, it's going to be a lot more fun getting some viewership from that end as well. But, all right, guys, that's going to do it. Love y'all. Have a great rest of your evening. And we will see you back here next Thursday for a new set of power rankings and a new set of best bets. Denver, bruh. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Yay, go Nuggets, though. There we go. Hey, I'll take it. Anytime there's a Nuggets fan in the chat, I don't know. I appreciate that a lot. There you go. All right, guys. Love you. Have a great night, and we will catch you next time.